Okay, so here's day 2? Day 2, I think, is what I'm supposed to be doing. I got so confused. Yes, day 2. So this is for the red team to watch on Tuesday or whenever you're going to do it, okay? But this is what the rest of us are doing in class on Tuesday. All right, so day 2, we have lines, rays, and angles. Some more definitions to make sure you know what's going on. And a line, as you can read, set of points that extends forever in two directions. Okay, some lines are uniquely determined by 2 points in a line. We symbolize that by the double arrow. So when we talk about lines, it's important to put that hat in there. Otherwise, sometimes we get confused. Now, you can either use 2 capital letters, like that is, or you can use 1 lowercase letter. And usually when they're typed, they're like italicized or scripty or something. Okay, so let me see if I can move this. All right, now a ray is part of a line. It starts on one endpoint and goes in one direction. So like if I'm talking about ray AB is going to start at A and head to the right through B, okay? If I talk about ray BA, that's not the same ray, because ray BA starts at B and heads the other direction. Okay, the first letter in the ray's name is the starting point. So just make sure you know that, okay? It's not a huge deal, but when you read things, it'll be important. All right, notice they overlap at segment AB. Okay, so when I look at this line, I've got 3 points on it and then 1 little letter over here. So we could call this line M, like this, or you can just, write the words line M, okay? Or you can use like cursive if you really love cursive and you're like, I'm so sad I never get to use cursive anymore. Whatever, I don't do cursive very well, so I don't ever do cursive. All right, and now I have to have 2 letters. So you could pick EF for your line. You could pick EA for your line. You could pick FA for your line, and you could go the other direction. I mean, you could have done FE for that line, or AF for that line. You see what I'm saying? Okay. 2 ways to name the ray that starts at point A and heads in the direction of point F. So both of these have to start with A, because that's the starting point. So I can either call it AF with the ray on top, or I can call it ray AE with the hat on top. Okay? They're the same ones. Besides rays and angle and line stuff, we also need to know about angles. Okay, so when we start talking about angles, which we'll do a lot of angle stuff. Angles is when you have 2 rays joined together at their starting points, and then it's called a vertex. You probably already know that word, but that's the kind of the definition. So here's the vertex, that's the joining point of those 2 rays, and then we've got that angle over here. Sometimes I'll put a thing on it like that to kind of talk about it, sometimes not, but anyway, so that's the angle. And when we have angles, we can use 3 letters or 1 letter. So if I have an angle that looks like this, if the vertex is A, here's A, and then B, A, C, notice how they go in order. And then these are rays. So B, A, C, that's an angle. Okay, you could also call this angle C, A, B, because you could have gone the other direction. But A has to be in the middle because A is the vertex. Okay, that's huge. So we talk about the measure of an angle, like if you were going to use a protractor or something, which we don't use, but we put the little M in front. That just means the measure of angle, whatever. Okay? And just like yesterday, we talked about, I guess I shouldn't say yesterday, I should say Thursday, we talked about segment bisectors, how the midpoint is can bisect the segment. Bisect means to cut into 2 equal parts. We could also have angle bisectors. We can also have angle bisectors. Notice when I look at this picture here, I've got this angle here, and call it the purple angle, and then we've got the red angle. And do you see how these little marks on the inside here? Okay, those show that it's the same because it's got that little hash mark in it. So this angle here, if I were to measure that, would be the same as this one over here. So that's what an angle bisector is. Okay, it cuts the angle in half, just like a bisector would for a segment. All right, so when I talk about this picture here, I want 3 names for it. Okay, so now you can use 1 letter if you want, and if you use 1 letter, you have to use the vertex. So you can call it angle D. Or you can use 3 letters and you have to go in order. So start out here at F and you're going to go F, D, E. So angle F, D, E. Or you could go the other way and go angle E, D, F. Angle E, D, F. Okay? Now, all the angles here, so you got a bunch of them. So you've got this one. Oh, by the way, this one, you cannot say angle D, because what do you mean by angle D? Do you mean this one up here? Do you mean this one here? Or do you mean the whole one? Nobody knows. So when you have a couple of angles, 3 or 4 angles or whatever at one vertex, you cannot use 1 letter. So you can call this angle G, one of them angle GDF, that's this one. You could call angle FDE, that's this one. And then the big one is angle GDE. That's the whole big one. Okay? Good. All right. Now, just like yesterday, we used some algebra, woohoo, and we can add up angles and subtract angles. We've got this lovely picture. We're looking for the measure of angle DBA. So now notice you've got this angle over here is 48, and this one here is x plus 7. Notice the 2 of those make this giant angle. So you can say 48 plus x plus 7 equals 4x minus 20. Okay, because you've got this angle over here, that's this 48. You got this x plus 7, which is this one, and those 2 together make the big one, which is the 4x minus 20. And then you can do the algebra. X plus 55 equals 4x minus 20. I can subtract x. I'm going to run out of room here, aren't I? So I'm going to go over here. So 55 equals 3x minus 20. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So 3x equals 75. Divide by 3, x equals 25. But is that my question? No. I need DBA. DBA. That's the big one, right? DBA is the big angle. So I'm going to plug it into the 4x minus 20. So I'm going to say 4x minus 20. I'm going to say 4 times 25 minus 20, and that's 80 degrees. By the way, do not assume the picture is to scale. Okay, notice here it says not drawn to scale, not drawn to scale. So don't go by that, okay? All right, so here's the picture. I may put the picture once, but you're going to use it a bunch of times, okay? So when I do these, I always mark them up. K, J, M. That's this one. That's 22. K, let's change colors because we can. K, J, L, that's over here. This is 84. So how big is measure of angle M, J, L? M, J, L, that's the big one, right? So that's 84 plus 22, which is what, 106? Okay, those kinds of things. So see if you can do those, okay, on your own, and we'll talk about it when you get back to school on Wednesday, okay? All right, bye.